doing a video, trying to capture the first light. Doing a live stream. And that direction over there is the east. We're gonna wait here until we see in the next half hour some sunlight pop up. It tells us we're in the right place. So this is supposed to be the most coveted time of the day. First light. First light is supposed to be like the most crucial time to get aromatic amino acids. The most crucial for your ocular centers. Tyrosine, tryptophan, and phenylalanine. That's what we're out here doing. I'm definitely going to be working out good today. Probably not until later on. No matter where you are on planet Earth, that's where the sun comes up. I think let's walk down a little ways. And I want to get a really good workout. So that's south. That's east. That's where the sun comes up. Right? There's north. And then right behind me is obviously west. We're going to try to capture the first light in the morning. And the first moment, try to catch that green flash this evening. Because I want to know what these aromatic amino acids are all about. So I'm out here to catch the nectar of the gods, as they call it. This is when it's most crucial, and there's that balance between ultraviolet and infrared. So far we passed, as you can imagine, a bunch of homeless people waiting for some sort of Goodwill handout or Tuesday, something going on. All these areas are very synonymously, very similar or the same. I just want to be out. I want to see the sun. I want to capture it. It's early. Most of the time that I have ever been exposed to this type of sunlight has been jobs that I've had to work. And I want to choose to get out on a regular basis. If this, it's not just Jack Kruse, there's several other doctors that are talking about this. I posted something up on Community Post about how critical this, not just sunlight, but early morning sunlight is to your health. And there's a lot of speculation that says this is why people are overweight. Tons of research that's been blocked over and over again. And it might sound like hyperbole, but there is a huge amount of documented research. And Jack Kruse may be a little bit caustic for most people. He's a neurosurgeon. But there's many other people jumping on this saying, no, it's true. We are not getting the sunlight that we require, and we live, and work and drive these cars that are just blocking out most of all the UV and ultraviolet rays. So it's probably 5:40, sunrise isn't until 6 a.m. And I'm just trying to catch a really good spot. I only slept about 3.5, 4 hours, but I feel like I got a full night's sleep. And I think that that's a sign that your circadian rhythm, because I've been doing nothing but fitness training. And eating the perfect diet, like not leaving one nutrient out. I just started with a big handful of 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C and creatine. I didn't take my trimethylglycine. That's a really important one as well. But I'm sipping on my Diet Dr. Pepper. The way people stare and how little is going on out here, it just tells you how few people are actually witnessing this, right? Then you get the haze, which is really nice. This is Central California. It certainly feels good out here, but you got a billion people or more, 8 billion people who want to jump down your throat for doing something unorthodox, like witnessing and filming the event. Just staring and staring. You'd think in 2025 it would be just more commonplace, right? With the advent of Google and YouTube to just get out, experience, witness. But it shows you we're more indoctrinated than ever. Prisoners in our own bodies, in our own minds. Passing shit tests that we never, that are based on a moral aptitude or solution that doesn't even exist, just to keep us trapped in our own heads, curious and confused at the same time. Everyone wants to put you down into an MO, and you have to define yourself. That's your job. And it's not going to be done by existential standards or needs. Being as healthy as you can and maintaining that is your primary goal, and it's not just physical, right? And then you got this. Divination, tarot cards. They want to box you in and have you turn toward false ideologies. And neither can you just write yourself a prescription and say, I'm going to create my own religion. It has to be based on fundamental principles. So we turn to the purity. It's free for now. Your health isn't free. But what they've found, I posted this up down below, a few posts down now on community posts, but it's this entire interview that I just caught the last little bit of that I'm going to be going in today. And that is, even patients that are sick, that are near the window, recover faster than the people that are 1-2 beds over from them. And we're talking the window, right? Okay, here's a bus stop, and I was thinking about this one. So they probably think I'm drinking alcohol, beer, some alcohol in an open container. It's like, what are you doing now? It's bizarre. Nobody's waiting at bus stops. I'm a little parked over here right now. So this is officially officially almost sunlight right now. It looks like I might be able to kick back on this bench for a minute. I don't want to look like I'm loitering or anything, but so it's definitely not as bright as it appears. But that's what we're going to witness. Is we're going to witness the sunrise coming up from an easterly direction. And I'm going to try to find a better spot. This was not necessarily done in haste, but I didn't pre-plan this. I think it's going to be more northwest. Like I said, people are primarily up. Otherwise, they stay in bed on their days off. And it's like on your days off, it should be just the opposite. You should be getting up to capture that first, the nectar of the gods, that first bit of sunlight. All the ironies. Yeah, I bought a car over here about 15 years ago, a van. Probably overpaid for it exorbitantly, but it was a retired fleet van from Sears. E250. Had relatively low miles on it. And I was going to turn it into a mobile training unit. I had all my gear in there, boot camp stuff, and had turned it into like a suspension training mobile gym. There were no takers then, and there would be no takers now. That's how deep in we are. So I'm not going anywhere until I see that first bit of light come up. The nectar of the gods. The nectar of the gods. That guy's been there forever. Otis. He's been there forever. Got pictures of him with Jay Leno and a bunch of celebrities. It's important when you're filming not to look at anyone. Like if I was to point the camera directly toward them, but look at them, they would get instantly, the amygdala would be firing, right? And yet people know. They're out in public, and therefore I am the press, you are the press, we are the press. And it is a very strange predicament that we are in. But what do you have to hide, right? We should see that sun coming up. It should look beautiful. I think it's going to be in a northeast direction from how the street is situated. It'd be cool if the sunrise came from the west, right? Here we are on the Pacific. And even more so, the direction that Monterey Bay, where I'm at, well, you can actually, it's like a moon, right? sort of a shaped like a waning or a gibbous moon. You can actually go around the parameter and find the perfect spot where you could theoretically see the sunrise occur along with looking at the ocean. I'd have to kind of look at that and see what the perfect spot would be. But that would be up towards Santa Cruz more. And you'd still be looking the other direction, but you'd be able to catch a little bit of the, probably maybe, I would think Capitola, you'd be able to catch the sun to your left and the depending on the direction you're faced in, and the sea to the right. And just flipping between the two. Yeah, it's definitely nothing spectacular happening here. Makes you think that I just get up this early for nothing. You really have to be like pointed exact to the east and even at an angle to catch it perfectly. But we're here to get the good sunlight and to absorb the sunlight, the perfectly balanced ultraviolet light, infrared. This is supposed to be like the nectar of the gods that really balances out your ocular centers, gets your aromatic amino acids firing off, and aids and adds to bioluminescence. That is the light that ends up in your cells and establishing healthy mitochondria. And when you reset your circadian rhythm based on this, your whole life can change. But you have to change yourself dietarily and several other ways as well. We're gonna wait maybe like 5 more minutes, and see what we got going here. So I did not leave my can of Diet Dr. Pepper out. I crushed it up and put it in my pocket. I hope everybody's doing that. Just because the world shits on you doesn't mean you have to lower yourself. And those standards are one thing, but your principles are another. You're going to be shit tested and made to feel immoral. And when you internalize that, it goes in the wrong direction. Sounds like you got a jazzercise rumba class going on over here. Rumba. Something tells me we're not even going to see it today with all this fog. I think it happens when you're not expecting it. I want to catch a little bit of that light though. Get that first bit of light. So we're faced in an easterly direction. So it should be, what, about 5 more minutes of this. I like it. I mean, it's good, you know. Hey, boss, how you doing? How's your day?
Good, how's your day?
Oh, not too bad, man. The guy already looks high. He already looks high. And it's just crazy how, you know, he's one of the few people who's out here in the sunlight and could really use like a reset. Looks healthy, like most of the homeless people look healthier, and I really think that's an epidemic or a pandemic unto itself, where being healthy and getting first sunlight, you don't see that many. I mean, am I wrong here? You don't see that many obese people on the street that you're going to see year after year. Like the people that you see year after year on the street are usually quite thin, and they may not have signed up for it, but I think subconsciously they really wanted to get, and knew, their bodies biologically knew that the first morning light was the healing process. That guy being high off his ass, I mean, it's contraindicating, but his body is still healthier than your average person. He's still leaner than your average person. He's just been through it. So he's actually healing on one level and fighting it on another. And we do that. We work against ourselves. It's like the world as an idea, concept, versus who we really are. So yeah, we're crossing the street. And there's so few people out. Like, I would have thought long ago that more people would be out, more people would be aware of this. Decade after decade, I walk in whatever town I'm living in, town to town. I used to capture a lot of my walks. And there's barely anybody out. There's barely anyone out walking. Of course, you go out 2 hours later, and that's when all the tyrant bicycle cops are out. That can't work under any other capacity. Dropped the little thing, part of this, that I hadn't dropped. And it's probably right there right now where we should be seeing just the first break of sun coming up. But again, you see how it's kind of down this cavern. There's a hillside here. When you look at the history of this area, he's like, shut up, my baby's sleeping. I think they have a nest in crows. I treat crows pretty well wherever I'm at. Like, I've fed them really well. Whether I'm in San Francisco, you know, doing the things that I do have a lot of videos where I was in SF. I'll go on back 6-7 years ago that I can put public again. But I'm not out here doing this much. So I figure if I'm doing this on a rare occasion, I'll be in the park today later probably. I'm doing suspension training. But I prefer doing indoor walking. I've walked all around this area many, many times. And it just, even though it's a beautiful area, it gets to the point where it's just redundant. You're not discovering anything new. The tapestry is just not, it's just not, you always have to kind of like stop for one reason or the other, and I like to just keep going. So I prefer indoor walking. And I do not like indoor walking as far as like being on a treadmill. You got a lot of people that are up and they just fill their bodies up with this shit. Seed oils. Pump. Low quality carbohydrates, sugars, dyes. That are just giving them like a little flash of what they really want. Yeah, this is the pivotal time for your ocular centers to get in the sunlight. But because it's so canopied and so heavily occulted around here, it's good and bad. The days where it's like 100 degrees up in the San Jose area, just 70 miles north of here, it's humming around 59 to 63, which I prefer. It's just like the most typical South Bay sort of what people would associate Daly City with, right? Type of weather. That's Pacific Grove, Monterey. That's the way it is around here. That's a pretty good watch a lot of these mom and pop businesses try to make it and they don't. They never do. Usually takes about 5 years. You want to know why? Because you have to write everything off. Successful businesses are making money off the government, and you have to actually be at a loss. And the people who stuff money away and intentionally steal from the government are the ones that are going to make it. And when you're on program, you're going to be rewarded. They want to know you're just as corrupt as they are. You're not trying to save the universe, you're not trying to save the world, you're not trying to stand for anything bigger or greater. And that's the deal. So yeah, I just wanted to get up, try to get some sunlight. Even though it's so canopied, you can feel the balance You can feel the ionic energy, though it's not as intense as it is up north. Not too far up north either. There's just like you can see this big fog bank around this area, and it's very reminiscent of the Bay Area. But when we get into the occult and we get into Michael Aquino, you know about all that, you know. His high status. He passed away, and he was a liar to the last day he was breathing on this earth. And oddly, a lot of these people live very long lives. He didn't necessarily. But I think about the people that I know that fell victim to this ideology, this belief, where, you know, my uncle just recently passed away, and he was, I met some of his quote unquote friends, and they were high level wizards. It was bizarre. And it was right in the same area in Pasadena. I don't think I have any footage left of that. I think I erased it all, but when I was down there training at Bally's Fitness that closed down 15 years ago, I used to catch a lot of footage of my walks down there. And we all have a time. We have a time to impress one another, to uplift each other, and there's a spiritual truth going on in your relationships with other people that seem inconvenient, but it's the other way around. The world is trying to parade in front of you and do all this pageantry, and none of that are you going to take with you. None of it is real. It's very important to know that. You got to sink into your health, and your fitness is about your spiritual fitness. You being a warrior is about championing for yourself and not losing, really, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but your soul in the process. You will know what a soul is when you lose it. And if you think you can just gain it back with the same whimsical notion as you lost it, it's in stages, it's in a process. At first you just don't see it. You don't want to see it. And the world even gives you excuses and says, no, that's not real. And then you realize that what seems to matter the most, right, matters the least, and vice versa. Be careful what you put in your lips. Be careful what comes out. You know, I want to make all these statements on YouTube, and then I realize I don't really need to make this statement. I don't need to die on this hill. You know? And then you have to answer to yourself, what are you willing to die for? And when it comes down to it, it's purity. If you love anyone more than you love yourself, and that's how you gain self-love back after you've hated yourself for a lifetime. You were supposed to hate yourself. You were supposed to love something or someone, really, more than you. But when I say something, I mean more like a cause. Where some people are so intellectually, ontologically, comprehensively understanding what's really going on that they want to build a better system. Pierre Proudhon may have been one of those people. But of course, you know how that story ended. That was probably the first Bitcoin that we know of in modern history. And yeah, it was in the early 1800s when they put a cap on this whole thing. If you want to dig further into that, a good person to turn to that understands the historicity of this is Cliff High. Going back about 2 or 3 years, he was doing some good little exposés on that. See if there is any. Yeah, we're not going to see any sunlight coming up for a little while now. So be well. We'll see you a little later on. Try to purify and be the best you can, but sometimes we've had the healthy solutions in front of us all along, and we've chosen less, because then when we are illuminated and we're in front of those people that choose to live in the illusion, we don't have anything in common with them, right? We don't have anything to share with them.